Hello, my friends. It's Mike Mitchell from Floyd Music School with another Monday music lesson. I'm going to recap really quickly. We've learned how to hold the bow. We've learned how to hold the fiddle. We've learned how to put our first finger on the first finger tape. And how to pull the bow in an organized and controlled way so that we are in charge of this thing. We're not gripping it and moving it back and forth through time and space and hoping for the best. We are in charge of it. That's so important for your sound. We want to, straight from the beginning, don't sound like we're just swiping at it and hoping for the best, right? So let's do some more of that. We're going to put a third finger tape on. We used the first, as we learned in a previous video. Now we're going to put the third finger tape on. Same method, of course. Tune it. Use your tuner. And please be exact. Take time enough to be really, really precise. When you get that A string in tune, take your finger tape. If you have a fancy silver or gold finger tape, that's fine and dandy. If you have, again, a little strip of Scotch tape, that's fine too. Just as long as it's nothing super sticky that's going to damage the fingerboard or the wood of the neck. We don't want any of that business going on now, do we? So, notice that I left the flaps because I don't know yet if this is perfectly in tune. The pitch of D, my friends, will be where we're at here. D is what we're looking for. So I'm going to come down right there, right to that edge of this piece of tape, put my fingernail on it, and pluck. I'm a little shy of the pitch of D. So just move it this way a little bit. Still a little tiny bit shy. Let's see how that worked. Drum roll, please. The boy is good. Fantastic. Now I have the pitch of D, so I'm just going to close the sides of that finger tape on. Now I have a first finger tape and a third finger tape on my Arthur Corner fiddle. Why don't you use a second finger tape, Mr. Mike? Very good question. Because the second finger is always moving. It's always either right here beside the first finger or right here beside the third finger. It's never in the center. So I don't want a finger tape in the center, of course, because that's the wrong note. And I want to have to think, based on what key I'm in, what tune I'm playing, what key I'm in, whether or not my second finger is going to be high or low. The high position here, right under the third, or the low position. Now, we're going to default for a whole bunch of reasons that, honestly, we don't need to know yet. We don't need to worry about. That's why I have a job. For all of those reasons that we don't need to know, we're going to default to the second finger being in the high position, right under the third finger. So on that A string, we'll go A, A1, also known as B, A2 high, also known as C sharp, and then the third finger. Let me just double check with my metronome, my tuner. Oh yeah, the boy is good. That's where we're at, my friends. Now I want to talk just a little bit about my elbow right here. See, now I'm not gifted with especially long digits. Those of us who are may not have to swing their elbow, their left arm, as much as I have to swing mine. But in order to get that third finger on a nice curvy radius, I swing my elbow in. And also, believe it or not, eventually you're going to use your little finger too. So the first finger, you know, the fingernail, and this is something I do with little kids. We draw a smiley face on the index fingernail, and that helps them orient their fingers onto the fiddle neck, so that smiley face is looking right at them. We draw a smiley face dead center. Now, with the middle finger, with the two, we draw the smiley face a little bit on this side of the fingernail. And then with the three, we actually draw the smiley face on the side of the finger, because each of the digits goes down in a different trajectory. There we go, and you see my elbow moving in. So, well, I guess we better get to it, huh? I'm going to turn this metronome on. Keeps us all honest. And I'm going to turn this to 56 beats per minute. Let's always, every time we pick this up, remind ourselves of this bow grip. Flat of the thumb, side, yes, flat of the thumb, side of the finger. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's in everybody's best interest as we're beginning. Flat of the, if I could get ball caps and t-shirts, I would. Flat of the thumb, side of the finger. Let's always remember that. Because when you put this up, you won't be thinking about your right hand anymore, will you? No. You're going to be thinking about little kids with smiley faces on their fingers. We'll do 2 strokes of the open A, 2 beats each. 2 strokes of A1, also known as B. 2 strokes of A2 high, C sharp, and 2 strokes of A3, D. 1, 2. You know what to do, and we'll go back down. Second finger. Fantastic. One thing that I try and do, and I've been trying to do this all of my days, is I try to never let the inside of my index finger actually touch the side of the fiddle neck. It's really, really hard, and I don't always succeed. But I've had this notion, ever since I was a little kid, that creates drag, and it's not in my best interest to have my hand squeezed up against there. Now there are, with everything, there's some differences of opinion. Some violin teachers say that this acts as sort of a guardrail or a guide, or like a handrail, more of a handrail, so that when we start sliding up and down and getting all crazy. But I don't. I think that with the thumb being an opposing point of contact on the fiddle neck, that's a point of reference for muscle memory, and the index finger is going to be fine and dandy as long as the thumb is in a good spot. So, whether you choose to try this or not, it's what I do, and I think it helps me play in good tune. So if you think I play well, and if you think I play in good tune, maybe you might want to try making sure that the index finger, the side of the hand, and certainly, as we spoke about in previous lessons, the soft squishy part of the thumb there, the thenar eminence, are not touching. That's a lot to think about, and that's plenty. That's as I guess as technical as we're going to be right now. Let's do that A string. 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, ready, and first finger, second finger, third finger, third again, fantastic. As you might have guessed, let's go over to the D string and do it on the D. Elbow up. Oh my. We are filming on the 1st of December today. And it has been very dry. It's been dry and very cold this year. And that means that I've been running, well, I haven't been running my outdoor wood stove for nice, warm, comfortable boiler heat. I've been running my heat pump, which makes it dry. And wood stoves will make it dry. This is an entirely different lesson, but the drier the environment, the more that tuning peg's likely to slip. So at some point in time, I'll talk about humidity. D string, 1, 2, you know what to do, and first finger, second finger, third again, my friends, down to second finger, first, open D. Outstanding. Some of you may have discovered immediately, right off the bat, you've got a bit of a challenge. And that challenge is that when the second finger goes down, the index finger wants to pop up, wants to go prairie dogging. Or when the third finger goes down, these two want to pop up. It's really, really common. In fact, it's more common than not. So if that's going on with you, congratulations, you're completely normal. And this is one of the reasons I have a job. What we have to learn with our left hand is something I call digital independence. And that means that, just to keep it really short and kind of in a nutshell, the rule of thumb is don't lift a finger. If you put a finger down, leave it there until you have to move it for some reason. Right? It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If it's involuntarily moving and certainly flying off of the fingerboard, well, then that just means I've got to go through the pain of putting it down in the right place again when I need it again. So I like to encourage people from the very beginning, work on your digital independence. Rule of thumb, don't lift a finger. With the little kids, especially grade school boys, I like to say we want to be as lazy as we can be. We don't want to move anything unless we have to. If we can just stay put and be lazy and not have to work hard, that's what we want to do. So if and when, my friends, you find your digit involuntarily waffling around in the breeze, don't be discouraged. Just know that it's something that you've got to work on, your digital independence. Let's do that D string again. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Fantastic. You're doing well. You're doing very well. Let me turn this metronome back on. Let's do the G string. A 1, 2, you know what to do, and did you notice something? I began to stop my bow at the end of each bow stroke. Let's do that again. 1, 2, ready, and so the idea here is, as soon as you start to get kind of comfortable walking up and down the string, we immediately start thinking about the bow. Again, always the bow. Remember, 80% here, 20% here. Crank the elbow down. Let's do the E string. 1, 2, ready, and repeat it. E1, which is F sharp. E2, which is G sharp. A, G sharp, F sharp, E. Fantastic. Now I want to talk about, here at the end of this lesson, another challenge that some of you may have found yourselves in just now. And that challenge is, when you go to the E string, your wrist and hand collapsed like this. Really super common. Common enough, of course, that I'm bringing it up. So if I'm bringing it up, it's something I've seen hundreds of times. So we do this mistakenly. It's this notion that we get that we have to pull our hand this way in order to access the E string that's furthest to the right. But when we do that, what are we doing? We're breaking the line. We can't break the line. We can never break the line this way or this way. It's just, it's not good technique. We don't want to break the line this way or this way. And at this point in time, I do a little demonstration. I play a little bit of something called lime rock. If you want to be able to get all the way up and down the neck of the fiddle, it doesn't really matter what style of music. If you want to play in the Blacksburg Community Strings and play, Handel, or if you want to play in an old-time band or a bluegrass band or jazz music or hymns at church, whatever, if you want to be able to master the entire fingerboard, you're going to want to be able to access up to here. If you've broken the line, then you've made a decision that you're not going to be able to access anything past a certain spot on your fingerboard, because this is going to stop you, right? And, there's many fine fiddlers that I admire and respect who play in the first couple of positions just fine and dandy, and they use this technique. But what I, as a teacher, if I'm going to charge money for my service, I have to use what the craft considers best practices technique. So, which means I have to read a whole lot of books, and books by people that know a whole lot more than me, and we all kind of concur that this is best practice technique. It really doesn't, again, it matters not what style you're interested in playing. And in order to get that best practice technique, we cannot break the line this way or this way. So if you find yourself breaking the line to go to the E string, I'd like to offer this idea for you. Do the opposite. swing the elbow in and come around. Bring that elbow in as far as you need to. That way you've got a straight line at the wrist. The wrist is not breaking the line. And yes, I might sound like a broken record, and it's for everybody's own good. 1, E string. 1, 2, you know what to do, and again. Fantastic. Do that over and over again. As soon as it becomes frustrating, put it down. Don't put it in the case and lock it away. Just put it down. Put it on a counter. Put it on your desk so that you see it as you walk by, and let that frustration subside. You begin to consider all of the things, especially the mantras: flat of the thumb, side of the finger, don't break the line. All of these things that we want to keep in fresh in our minds, and then pick it up again and go for it again. You're only hours away. I promise. I don't know if it's 2 hours or 20 hours, but you're only hours away. And when you can do all 3 fingers on all 4 strings, by the way, let's do just a little bit of math. 3 times 4, right? You've got 12 notes, plus the open strings is another 4. You've got 16 notes, my friend. 16 notes that you can play on your fiddle. So, feel very good about that. Feel very good about that. It's a great accomplishment. When you can do that really well, come back and see me, and I'm going to show you something called the seesaw exercise, which is going to be the cornerstone of your fiddling. And I'll see you there. Thank you.